I've said before in this well, I'll repeat myself, racial profiling is the most ubiquitous denial of human rights, of civil rights in this country. It happens every day at some place, at some time in this state. And it's not only directed at, it's going to expand racial profiling. There are some swarthy white people that look Latino who going to get stopped. And there's some African Americans who going to get stopped. More African Americans going to get stopped. This will impinge not on just Latinos, but it will infringe on anyone who is in the wrong place at the wrong time, looking the wrong way. And that's why I've offered amendment number 1. And I'm going to expand on something the senator from the 26th talked about, because it's troubled me ever since he said it. When he came to this well a few weeks ago, he talked about how Georgia was different from Mississippi or Alabama. And he's right. I thought he must have stayed awake during his history classes. Because the fact of the matter is, Atlanta is different, Georgia is different because we did things a different way. I know y'all like to go to the baseball games. Y'all like to go to the Braves game. Well, the only reason we have a baseball team in Atlanta is because there was a civil rights movement in Georgia led by a man who came out of this city who was able to cooperate with state leaders and others to do things different here in Atlanta and do things here in Georgia. If not for doing things different, we would not have an Atlanta Braves baseball team. We would not have an Atlanta Falcons football team. And we would not have had the 1996 Olympics. That is just the historical fact. And I'm telling you now, I don't want to be Birmingham, New Orleans, or Jackson, Mississippi, but that's the way we're going. You know what they used to call Birmingham? Bombingham. I'll let you think about why they call Birmingham Bombingham. But Atlanta was the city too busy to hate. Atlanta wasn't perfect, Georgia wasn't perfect, but it was a lot different from Mississippi when the state was controlled by the Ku Klux Klan. But we are well on our way because you know something? A boycott is coming. It's the elephant in the room. A boycott is coming. I'm going to tell you, if you think what happened in Arizona is going to be like kids play. The Presbyterian Church has already sent out a letter. They're not sending any of their conventions or any of their meetings here to Georgia. And that's just the opening of the floodgates. Arizona has lost how much money? 150? Senator from the 36 usually helps me with these things. 150 million? And, you know, politics is a funny thing. You have someone author a bill that we passed out of here today trying to get conventions in Metro Atlanta, and the same person voted for this bad bill. Lord, Lord, Lord. What is that about? It's called throwing a rock and hiding your hand is what it's called. But that's okay. These pages here are petitions from 23,000 Georgians who say, let's step back from the abyss. Let's step back from this thing we do today. Let's think harder and longer. Let's think long and hard over a year. We have time. There's no rush to divide. Let's not rush to divide. Let's work together to bring folk together. But that's what this is about, and that's why I've offered Senate Amendment number 1, the House bill 87, it would eliminate Section 8 altogether. And I know the senator from the 42nd has another amendment. And I appreciate him bringing that amendment. And I may or may not vote for it. As I stand here speaking to you, I don't know whether or not I'm going to vote for that amendment, Senator. I'm ambivalent about it at best, but the fact I know this, that amendment is not going to stop racial profiling, because it says that you can only be racially profiled if they think you're doing a felony. I'll repeat that. You can be racial profile, but only if they think you're doing a felony. Come on now. There are going to be a whole lot of probable causes for felonies out on the highways and byways of Georgia. So don't believe the hype. Don't be fooled. Section 8 ought to go in its entirety. And I would commend this amendment to you and ask you to vote for it. And keep in mind what these people are saying to us. People from Atlanta and Forest Park and Decatur and Statesboro and Marietta, people who have signed these petitions, believing that this legislature, this body that we serve in, is better than what we do today. Mr. President, I'll yield the well unless there are questions. I'll be glad to take any questions. No questions. Thank you, Mr. President.
Let's get through the amendments. Senator from the 2nd is recognized. I'm sorry.